Welcome to I Have Something to Talk About. My name is Tatiana.
I'm Brooklyn.
And I do have something to talk about today. Anyways, it's my turn to talk today. I do have something to talk about. I have a story to tell you. It's not like something, well, I mean, we can get into a debate later on. But
let's do it.
Or like shared stories, but I do have a story to tell you. Okay? So this Tuesday, Brett and I went to our like big center that's near us.
Yep.
And we had a doctor's appointment to go to. So like that was all fun and dandy. Honestly, okay, so first of all, the first thing that you need to know about the biggest center that we live close to is that it is an absolute gong show of a city. I don't think I've ever gone there and not felt like, the whole time I was there. Okay? I lived there for 4 years. And that was the only time that I didn't
Bigger
feel...
center. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. Big center.
Yeah, got it.
Not like the little one.
Yeah.
Where I didn't feel like panicked. Okay? That was the only time that I've ever like not... When I was true blue, like living there full time, only time I felt calm about it.
Yeah.
So it's a shit show. And in the winter, it gets worse, especially when it snows, because they don't plow the streets and it's blah, 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 blah. Anyways, so we go up to the city and it's an absolute gong show, as it usually is. And it just seems like with every big center, okay, and again, we're like from a small town, so maybe I'm being a little narrow-minded, but just the prospect of dealing with like grifters and homeless people, I have a lot of compassion, but I'm also like a woman, so I have a lot of fear. And so we went to our appointment, and it was impossible to get to the hospital, as it is when your hospital is situated right downtown. And we weren't even at the one that was right downtown. We were at the one that was like a little bit further north by the college. And it's still a gong show down there. Like it's almost arguably worse, I think. Like parking's impossible.
Oh.
The parking meter ate my money. I only had $5 of change on me, and you needed $6 to get your parking ticket, and it wouldn't take credit card. It only took change.
Oh.
The parking lot that we were in. I gave it my $5, and I tried to get my money back.
It was like,
no thanks, that's my money now. And I was like, oh, okie then. That was my superstore frickin' loony. Okay? So right off the get-go, we got to town, and I was like, keyed up. You ate my shiny loony. So disrespectful. So we go inside, blah, 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 blah. We get all that done. We get back to our vehicle, okay? I guess this is going to be a longer story than I thought it was, okay?
Okay.
So before all of this stuff happened, I have an anxiety disorder. And so when the day doesn't start right, it kind of wrecks my shit. And I'm getting better about that. I'm working to get better on it. But we forgot to set an alarm. We were late for our appointment.
Oh, no.
They were super good about it. I called ahead and was like, dude, I just woke up. We're an hour and a half away. We didn't wake up so late that we had like slept right up until our appointment. So we were going to be like 2 hours late. But like, I was going to be late.
Oh, yeah.
So like, I was going to be like, if we left the minute we woke up, I was going to be 15 minutes late for my appointment.
Oh, jeez.
And everyone knows that you can't get out of the house that quick.
No.
So, like, I was late. That kind of threw me off. We couldn't get breakfast on the way to town like we thought we were going to. So, and we didn't have time to make breakfast. We didn't have time to get coffee. So, like, it was just, like, it started my day off really shitty. So, when I start a day off like that, I feel like I go into high adrenaline mode.
Oh.
And then I literally don't come down for hours. So, and the appointment that we were going to was, like, kind of an important one. And so I was, like, high off of that. And going to a hospital in the big city in the middle of COVID, because like right now we're going through another big COVID surge.
For sure.
So like I was like, oh my god, I don't want to get sick. So like it was just a bunch of bullshit. And then I feel like we finally got out of the hospital, and I just took like a big deep breath where I was like, okay,
full of COVID.
We can big
full
deep breath
COVID air.
COVID. And I was like, okay, we can finally calm down for a second. Like
we're gonna get flagged for saying COVID so many times.
We meaning me. We'll shorten that to the vid from now on. Okay. The vid. And so we finally get outside. We have to walk 2 blocks back to our vehicle because that's the closest we could park. And we get back to our vehicle, and I finally am just like, okay, it is noon. I am starving. I haven't had coffee yet today. Like, let's move on with our day. And this guy comes up to our vehicle, and me being the person that I am, I made eye contact with him. So then he like comes up to the window and like motions for Brett to roll down his window. And Brett was like being the sweet little dum-dum that he is. And he was just like looking at his phone. And I was like, God, I should have done that, because then we could have just been like, oh, sorry, I didn't see you there, and like left and saved ourselves all this hassle. So this guy comes up, and like, I'm not going to lie to you, he looked like well kept. He was like shaven. He had a clean like coat on with no rips or tears in it. Nothing about this man screamed, I'm homeless and need money. He looked like a person who was just in the parking lot trying to find his vehicle. And he was older, so I, honest to God, I was like, Brett, roll down your window. Like, maybe he lost his vehicle and needs help finding it, because he looked old enough to, like, have lost his vehicle, maybe. Okay. So Brett rolls down his window, and the guy starts telling us this story about how he, like, his dad was in the hospital and his dad just died. So immediately, like, oh my gosh, that's so horrible. Because, like, of course, that's very plausible. We're in the middle of a pandemic right now. He probably did. And, like, he looked old. So if your dad was in the hospital, I'm sure he did pass away. He could have been older than sin. So he, like, starts telling us this sob story, telling us about how his vehicle got towed. He doesn't have his wallet. He doesn't have a phone. He has nothing to his name right now. And his dad just died. So, of course, I feel a lot of compassion for that. I'm trying to get a bus back up north. And so I said to him, I was like, okay, well, how much is a ticket? And he was like, it's $80. And I was like, expensive ticket.
Here's $10, man. See you later.
Like, seriously. Good luck. Here's the thing. I didn't have any cash on me whatsoever.
Then just say that.
So I should have.
Yeah. What did you do? Keep going.
I said to him, I don't have any cash on me. I only have my credit card. Can you take me to the kiosk and I'll buy you your ticket?
No.
Because I am a firm believer that if you have the money to help someone and they genuinely need help, like there was a time in my life where I couldn't have afforded to buy somebody an $80 bus ticket. I could now. It wouldn't like break my bank. I could do that. And if he really needed the help and his dad did just die, like, I want to help him out. Yeah. So I was like, yeah, sure, take me to this kiosk, thinking that it would be, well, first of all, he wanted the cash. And I was like, I don't have any cash, but I said, I'll absolutely buy you a ticket. That's important to the story. Remember this, okay? So, of course, I'm not going to walk with this stranger by myself. So I'm like, Brett, get your coat back on. Like, we're going to go and walk this guy to the kiosk. So,
what kiosk?
So here's the thing. As we're walking, we get out of our vehicle and he's like, oh, he broke his back in the local like rodeo in 1999 and like all of this stuff. So as like literally it's a 2-block walk back to, because where we had gone to go to our appointment was right beside the bus terminal. Oh. And so I was like, okay, well, there's got to be a kiosk there to buy your ticket, right? And when we were leaving our vehicle,
but those are city buses, aren't they?
Okay, listen, it gets
okay. Sorry.
Some of it. So here's the part that's so tricky. Here's the part that's so tricky is that some of his story had huge holes. Some of his story did not. And I was like, what's the truth and what's not? Yeah. Okay. And so he had told us that there's this thing called an e-bus. And they are buses that aren't, because they don't do Greyhounds anymore.
Oh.
Yeah. Greyhounds like aren't a thing apparently. Oh. So they have these things called e-buses and you can take that. And I don't know how it works.
It's like
I don't even know how you buy a ticket. I'm not going to lie to you, okay? I don't even know how you buy a ticket. Okay. And maybe that's where I got grifted. Because I still, to this day, this happened like on Tuesday and it's like Friday, still haven't looked up how the e-bus works because that was like the least of my worries. Okay. So we walk all the way these 2 blocks back. Like, which granted, it's not that far, okay? 2 blocks is not that big of a stretch. But trying to keep up conversation with a person who might be homeless, that was a good time. We had so much fun. I don't know if he was blowing smoke up my ass for the whole 2 blocks there, but we got there and I was like, okay, well, there's like no bus here. And he was like, because when we left our vehicle, again, I've like this whole time I was trying to gauge how much I was willing to invest into this interaction. And it was like 10:20 and he was like, yeah, the bus is going to be here in 20 minutes. And I'm like, all right, well, like snappy, let's get going. Yeah. Okay, so we get all the way there. There's no bus there. And I was like, there's no bus even on the horizon. You'd think that if the bus was leaving in 20 minutes, that they'd be there loading people up. Yeah. So I was like, there's no bus here. I'm like, I'm going to go inside and see if the kiosk is selling tickets yet. Kiosk isn't open. Kiosk is closed. And I said to him, I don't know how I'm supposed to help you because there's no ATM here. There's no kiosk for me to buy you a ticket. I don't know what I'm going to do to help you. And he said, oh, you know what? There is a drugstore back at this place. Turns out that was the place that was right where we were just like we were parked in the same parking lot as this drugstore.
Awesome.
And I was like, cool. So we just wasted 15 minutes of my life walking these 2 blocks, trying to keep up conversation with you. Now we have to go back. What a never-ending nightmare. So again, he's like telling us more stuff about himself that like, so here's the thing. Easily Googleable. Easily Googleable. Like big things that would have been in the news.
Oh, okay.
For how small of an area we live in. Okay? That's also important to the story. So, as we're walking, he asks us, he's like, so are you Christian?
Oh.
And I was like, oh my God. No. I'm trying to get better about stuff. Like, I don't lie to strangers. I don't fucking care what you think about me. I was like, no. And he's like, oh, you seem like very kind people. So I figured you're a Christian. And I was like, again, me being the bitch that I am, I'm like, you don't have to be Christian to be a good person. And he was like, cool. And
actually, a lot of Christians aren't even good people.
So,
cue the hate.
Cue the hate. Bring it in. Bring it in. Fist fight all of you in the name of Jesus.
Father, Son, and Holy Ghost.
Terrible.
Is it Spirit? I don't know.
I do know it's Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit.
Okay.
So, anyways, we get back to this drugstore. There's an ATM. I pull out, of course, again, because I am an incredibly kind person, not on my credit card because I'm not a fool. They charge you extra interest for that. But on my debit card, I pulled out $80 for the ticket.
No,
and
you didn't. Continue.
And an extra 40 because he said he had no money
Tati.
for food. He's an old man, okay?
You gave him $120.
I gave him $120
in cash and was like,
I gave him.
See you later.
Okay, so here's the
deal. Do
deal.
you need more?
By the time I gave him the cash, I was like, at this point, if it's for drugs, I hope you have a really good time. I hope you have a great time. And also the way that I view these kind of interactions, which don't happen to me that often, please. Don't think that they do. But like, that's just bad karma on you. If you took advantage of my kindness, that's bad karma on you. And it's only good karma for me because I like went out of my way to help you. So that's good karma for me, bad karma for you. If you bought acid with that, then you're probably gonna have a bad trip. Bad karma.
Sure it's not acid.
Black tar heroin? Don't do drugs, don't know. So
don't do drugs.
I don't do drugs. I don't know. So anyways, I get him all this like stuff. I get him all situated. He like thanks us. And again, okay, so I know, you're gonna be so mad at me. So he asks us, he's like, I'd really like to be able to get in touch with you guys.
Oh yeah.
To thank you and to send you your money back.
Oh.
And so he was like, can I get your phone number? And I was like, that's okay. We really don't need you to thank us. Like, just consider it like an act of goodwill and like let's move on from there. And he like wouldn't let it go. He was like, come on, I like
shocking.
Right.
The person who just gave him $120 won't give him their phone number now?
I gave him my first name and my phone number.
Stop it.
Because I was panicking.
Stop it.
So I did it.
Stop it.
I didn't sleep that night.
What?
Because when I got home, I realized, I was like, I kind of like started feeling icky about it after I came down from like the terror of like.
What did Brett say? Okay, you guys get in the vehicle after this. Okay, no, continue. Just wait.
We get in the vehicle and Brett's like, so that's not even the weirdest part. I gave him my name and my phone number. And then he asks us our ethnicity. And I, of course, me being the teacher that I am,
so
I'm like,
he's writing
it down on a pad of paper. He has a pad of paper in his pocket and a pen. That's all he had left to his name.
I'm sure it was.
And I didn't even think to give him a fake name and number. Because again, he's an old man. What the fuck is he gonna do? Like, what are you gonna do? So yeah, and then he asked me our ethnicity, and I was like, that's such a weird fucking question. Like,
what did you say?
I'm a ghost. So I said Caucasian, and he was like,
"Oh, I'm so sorry. I punched the mic."
so mad at me, just viscerally punches the mic. So I said Caucasian, and
he wrote down Caucasian.
No, he didn't know what that meant. He was like, "What?" And I was like, "Just white." That was my answer. I was like, "We're just white." And he was like, "Oh, a couple of whiteys, just like me." And I was like, "All right, I'm officially over with this conversation." And I was like, "Okay, well, you have a nice day," and we like left. Okay, keeping in mind that like we clocked it. This entire interaction, walking all the way to the bus, finding out there was no kiosk, blah blah blah, getting them the cash out, only took 40 minutes of my life. And
only 40 minutes.
Only 40 minutes of my life.
And $120.
My shmulas. But then I got home and I like Googled my first name and my phone number, thinking like nothing's gonna come up. Yeah, no. The school division that I applied to uses a third party to read our resumes, and when you open the resume with that third party, it posts it to a website. So my entire resume with my address, so that they can send me copies of my contracts, is posted online, as well as my final evaluations for my teaching practicums, which contain sensitive information about my teaching practicum. So because they opened it on this third-party website, it published it to the internet. And when you search my first name and my phone number, it all pops up. And so I was like, okay, so not only that, but like this person, he has my first name and my phone number. He can find out where I live. So obviously I immediately contacted the third-party provider of this website and said, I did not give permission to post these. You need to take them down immediately. And they were really good about it. They emailed me back like the next day. I emailed them at like 9 o'clock at night. They emailed me back 8 a.m. the next day. They have been removed. And I was like, cool, thank you so much. But like, first of all, terrifying that was posted without my permission, and probably without my school division's permission either. Like I would assume that they would never do that to their employees. So like, that's just shitty. That sucks. But also, dude, I got fucking grifted.
You most certainly got something.
I don't think that man broke his back. I don't think that he lived up north.
I'm not gonna,
I'm sure that the reason his coat looked so nice and he didn't look homeless was because he took some other sucker's money the day before and then went and bought a new coat.
Oh my god.
I think I got taken advantage of.
What would your mom have done?
Let's say she was about this you. And she was like, well, that's just good karma. So here's the thing. This is why she said that's good karma for you and bad karma for him if he takes advantage of you. And that's exactly the kind of like information that was informing my decisions of being like, help somebody out if they need it. And it's good karma.
My grandma would have like, one time we were she used to live in the next province over.
Okay.
And we visited her one year.
Left or right? Just so I have a context.
Well, are we looking north?
Yes.
Then east. So right. If we're looking north,
okay,
it's
thank you.
It's
oh,
right.
Yeah, okay, I got the vibes on your grandma. I know what kind of person she is.
She's only there for like, I don't know how long. Anyways, so she takes me to a mall. We get out of the car and we're walking in.
They have malls there? Thought for sure it was all flat.
Anyways, we're walking into the mall and a homeless, or maybe not homeless, I don't really know, a person who was wanting to talk to me, and I was like 13 at the time, maybe. My grandma's walking up ahead. I am holding back. Also, sweet little dum-dum, nothing.
At least you were 13, not 28.
No thoughts, empty brain. Was walking and stopping and talking to this person, and my grandma goes, "No!" and pulls me away. I shouldn't have just yelled, but
that's okay.
Just rips me away. So it just, she was immediately like, "No!" Didn't even give him the time of day.
That's
just like, I don't want to hear anything. And then today actually, when we were in the city, I had mom and grandma with me, and the guy came up and was giving him a sob story about whatever, and mom gave him some cash, like $6, not $120. But
I do my best.
But she just like literally like handed him the $6 and like walked away. Like there was no like, I'm not walking 40 minutes with you. Like it's just like there's a point about like, yeah, you can feel like empathy and compassion for their story and stuff like that, and still not waste your time. Like I can, because I don't know you. I don't know you from a hole in the ground. How is it to say that you're not going to try and get me and my husband in a back alley where your buddies are going to come in and... Dude,
I was terrified. That's why we walked along the main drag, because he was literally at one point like, oh, I think we can take this shortcut. And I was like, no. And we walked along the main drag the entire time.
Like, I know you from nothing. Like, me not trusting you is not me assuming that you're going to kill me. Yeah. Or it's me literally just trying to take care of myself.
Right.
Because it happens. And we don't know, right?
Yeah.
Like, no. We need to be prepared for anything.
People are crazy.
Exactly, especially as women. Like,
yeah, dude.
Like when we were at the bar.
I never would have done that by myself. Oh my God.
We were at the bar and my buddy picked you up in his car.
Listen, I still to this day, I was actually thinking about this the other day, okay? I was thinking about it because I was talking to somebody about like close calls and shit like that. Okay, so before we giggle about it.
Okay.
How well did you know that person?
I worked with him. I didn't know his buddy.
Work. Right. Yeah. You worked with him.
Yeah.
But like for how long? Like a few months, a year, 2 years?
Not 2 years. Like I didn't live in the city for 2 years.
No.
Yeah. So not yet. Like
right.
Yeah. Less than half a year.
Right. So okay. Yeah. So because I remember that at the time I was like, oh yeah, that was really silly of me. Like he's like Brooklyn's friend. Like he worked with her. You know what? We have known people who turned out to be shitty. Yeah. And we think that they're good people. So I've always viewed that, like, I feel like as women, we tend to be like, if we are extra cautious and somebody makes fun of us, or not even makes fun of us, but somebody's like, oh my gosh, haha, that was so silly. Yeah. Your immediate reaction is to be like, oh yeah, you know, I was just being careful. Ha ha ha. But now that I'm like grown up, I look at that and I'm like, I had no reason to trust that person. Yeah. The only reason I had to trust that person was because you worked with him. I didn't fucking know him. Yeah. Me running away from him in a back alley because I was drunk off my ass and they were being incredibly aggressive. To each other. A very, very normal reaction, I feel like. Yeah. Now as a grown up, I look at it and I'm like, yeah, no. And, you know, like, yeah. That was probably a situation that I shouldn't have put myself in. Yeah, and like, and I didn't fucking know him. Yeah, and I wasn't with you. Like, no, I didn't know him. You weren't there to vouch for me. No. I had nobody to help me. I left a bar drunk by myself with two guys that I didn't know who were like, oh, you're Brooklyn's friend. We'll take you home. And then in my drunken haze, they started shouting about McDonald's, and I thought they were talking about they're going to rape me. So I ran away. Yeah. And got lost. And had to fight a hobo for my cash money. So, I guess I shouldn't say hobo. That's not, like, politically correct anymore. But I did have to fight a homeless person for my cash. I was trying to give it to the cabbie, and he tried to take it out of my hands, and I was like, I will punch you in the mouth, my guy. And I am sorry that you were ever put in that position. Like, that's not your fault, though, no, either. But, like, it shouldn't have happened, but yeah, I was also in a weird situation, you know. Oh, like, my gosh, like, too. You had to leave because of really shitty circumstances. Yeah, so had to. You would have never left me otherwise. Never, ever have left. Girl bosses don't leave each other at the bar. I am such. Me and actually maybe my brother, when we were talking on the phone when you got here, we were talking about this today, and I was like, yeah, I haven't been in a bar in a long time, and I'm very like, you know, when I'm drunk or with other people, I'm like, do you need anything? You need some water? If they get too drunk, I'm like, here, eat food. I have one of my really good friends who I worked with for a long time, and anytime we would get drunk, I would force feed her food because I thought it would help her, and every single time she vomited all the food up. And every single time. Helping her expel the demons out of her body. Every time she was like, stop feeding me, and I'm like, you need food to absorb the alcohol, and she's like, please stop. No, for sure, I'm gonna puke. Yeah, and she did every single time. Yes. And I would be like, no, I'm mother. You know, I will help. Let me water, food, you know. Yeah, let me help you. And she'd always be like, stop. Anyways, and anytime we're at a bar or anything like that, I'm always like mother hen to all my friends that are there, and like I'm very like, you know, happy and stuff. And then when all my friends are like getting pushed around, or if like there's someone smaller, because I'm not a small person, like I'm a big girl. When my friends are getting pushed around and a smaller friend or whatever, I'm just like, oh. Punch you out, man. I'll light your shit up. Yeah, like, and then I switch them places, and then as they're bumping into me, then I am always the outside of the dancing circle. Oh, yeah. Elbows up, baby. Yeah, but I think this is like something that we have in common. I am ready to throw down the minute anybody gets. This is why I actually don't drink, because the minute that I get any alcohol into me, I'm like, you want to fight? Because tonight's the night, baby. But I'm like all bark, no bite. Like, I've never fought someone. I am the biggest asshole at the bar every single time. The last time that I went to a bar with girlfriends was, like, well before COVID, obviously. Yeah. And a guy was being really disrespectful to one of my friends, and I straight up took a swing at him. And when he tried to swing back at me, I started fake crying and got the bouncer and told him that he hit me. So not only did I start a fight with this guy, but when he tried to hit me back, I emotionally manipulated the bouncer into kicking him out. And then as the bouncer was walking him out, he looked back at me and like double middle fingers. Like, fuck you, buddy. Just looking to get killed in a back alley. Like, for sure. But we left the bar that night, and I was like, everyone watch my back, because I was watching yours inside, and that guy is going to kill me for sure.
You are the feistiest person to a point. And then as soon as you get to that point, then you are immediately, like, just a puddle. Like,
oh my God,
when we, for your bachelorette, when we got to, like, the McDonald's, and, like, we were so good to a point, and then as soon as we got to the McDonald's, you were like...
But that's because at the bar of my bachelorette, we weren't fighting people. Like, we weren't, like... We were having a good time. We were drinking. We were having fun. And then
we should have just been, like,
we should have been... Oh, yeah.
Brawling.
Sure. Why not? What a fun bachelorette. The high-key funniest part about my bachelorette is that the fact that the point of a bachelorette is to drink, right? Everybody who was my friend knows that I get fucking rowdy when I'm drunk, and nobody suggested a rage room for 1 second. Right?
Like, we did
my bachelorette
dancing.
was so much fun. We absolutely pelted each other with paintballs. It was such a good time.
That was horrifying.
It was so fun. I have never in my life been more emotionally close to my dad than when we were creating plans to absolutely wreck my husband with paintballs. That was a really good bonding moment for my dad and I.
I got hit in the hip, and I was like, out. I'm done. I didn't even want to do another game.
My husband and I ran
like,
the gauntlet together. That was so fun.
Oh my God.
That shit, like, feeds my fire. But, like, at my bachelorette party... You should, honestly. You should be terrified.
You
do. I crave pain and violence all at the same time. Good. And so at my bachelorette party, here's the thing. I am so feisty. You're right, to a point. As soon as men are involved, I am immediately like, and again, it's like a lot of trauma and fear, but, like the minute that men are involved with alcohol, I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
Stay away.
Yes, I recall this.
Yeah. And so my sister-in-law was talking to, like, these guys that we didn't know the whole time. And I was like, the whole way home, we were all trying to, like, walk home from the bar.
Hotel.
And we're walking, like, in dark streets. And it's not great.
All drunk.
We're all drunk. In the one person who I would expect to be, like, my mom was, like, with us. And I was like, oh, my gosh, my mom is going to be, like, when she said that she was coming out to the bar with us, I'm like, Mama T's got it, man. She's going to be Mother Baron. All of us can get lit. And she'll just be like, my little chickens, I'll herd you home. No, my mom was dancing on tables. Dancing on tables.
Like, you blew up the mic.
Well, that's because it's...
My mom!
My mom! She was dancing on tables and, like, couldn't walk a straight line home. So she was no help. And so my sister-in-law keeps on, like, fucking triggering me by talking to these guys who are following us home and then staying at the same hotel as us. Oh my God. And then they're like, oh, why don't you come up for a nightcap? And I was like, oh my God, she's gonna get gang raped in this hotel room. Literally, sorry. She was gonna get SA'd in this room.
She was concerned.
I was concerned.
We could tell.
I started crying. Like, straight up started crying, begged her to come back to the room. She wanted to go hang out with these guys some more, and I was like, this is not your night. This is my night. And I need you to come back to the room with us. And just eat your McDonald's in bed like a normal person. Like, just come cuddle me and eat your chicken nuggies and go to bed. And she did, because she's fantastic. She values my mental health. So she came with us. And good friend. But, like, dude,
what the heck?
It's terrible. I hate being this afraid all the time. Is it constant for you like it's constant for me?
Yeah, like in certain, like, situations, for sure. Like if I'm in the city at all, like, when was it this summer when I was up in the city for my nursing practice?
Yeah.
Like my nursing clinic.
Yeah.
Or was that last summer? I think it was last summer. Holy man. Anyways, and I was doing those hikes down the river valley. Like, there was just, like, doing these walks, and I would convince myself when I've seen people, because I'm by myself walking.
The fact that you even made it that far,
right? And I'm like, anyone, when someone would walk by me, I'd be like, a man walk by me, I'd be like, okay, they're continuing on, like, that they didn't, like, flip around and start, like, following me, right?
Sure.
Like there's so much anxiety being a woman walking around, and, like, I used to walk, like, when I lived in the city, I would walk everywhere in the city. Like, I had a friend, and we would walk everywhere, and, like, I would bus to his house, but by the time I was walking back, it would be
too late.
It would be too late for the buses. So I would walk back to the junction, he would walk me back to the junction where where the city starts, and then I would walk back all the way to my house.
No, you're joking. Yes,
I know.
Are you crazy? We lived in the city at the same time. I had a vehicle and you weren't calling me for rides?
I know.
You dumb bitch.
I would walk. I remember when how late was it when I rode down to Red Lobster that one time? It was late at night. And
you used to call me all the time though.
That was such a sketch area too. Like, yeah.
Dude.
Or the one time, it was like 1 a.m. and I left that house party from way on the other side of the city, and I walked at 1 a.m. I got back to my house at 5 a.m. I walked for 4 hours in the middle of the city. Like, just...
You're the definition of somebody who shouldn't have lived in the city.
Right?
Like, you could have called a cab.
Yeah.
You could have called a cab. They're not that expensive. Like, I know that we were broke, like, young people who were living in the city. Could have called a cab. You could have called me.
Honestly, where I was living, though, was sketch.
Where you were living was
super sketchy.
I used to drive to your house and like have my keys between my fingers to walk the 5 feet to your door.
I had a roommate got chased into our house before. Like, from people, we could hear gunshots going off around our house. There was, when we would walk to that Boston Pizza that was just behind the house. Like,
it's so funny because like you literally crossed the main road,
and it was like
the mall there.
Sketch.
The mall there's not that
sketchy.
That
area's fine. And then just north of
and like
there,
the college is fine.
Yeah.
But the minute that you got into the residential section, it was like, oh my god, I'm gonna get murdered.
Yep.
It was across the street.
Yeah, there was stabbings outside of that Boston Pizza. There was multiple times walking home from the Boston Pizza, people pulled over to pick me up. I'm like waitress dressed. Like, I'm not like, and like I had people asking, like,
soliciting you?
Yes.
Oh my god.
Yes, like pulling the vehicle over, and I'm like, I'm just trying to get home. I live like, I'm not gonna tell you where I live, but like, you know,
yeah.
Like, I live so close. Please just leave me alone. Like, yeah,
definitely. dude, that's wild. Oh, when we live in the city, I felt like I was so careful all the time. So careful. Unless, of course, I was drinking and then I was, like, doing the most reckless shit that I possibly could have been doing. I was like, what's the most dangerous thing that I could do right now? What do you want to say to Joe Biden right now? Sup, baby? Please don't stab me in the alley. That is the sum up of my entire university experience.
I don't even think I've heard that. Like, I've heard that sound. I have heard that sound. I know I have. But, like, it does not have my
piggy dipping.
Piggy dipping piggy dipping in the piggy bond. Oof. I don't know why it's got my freaking, or the gorgeous girls.
Oh my gosh, can I tell you a funny story about gorgeous girls?
Yes, you can.
Okay, so I coach a hockey team and I coach a U18 female hockey team. And it is fantastic. I love spending time with those nerds so much. They're amazing. They're hilarious. We have such a good time. And so they are teenagers though, and they do constantly forget that, like, in order to comply with COVID guidelines, in order for our team to be like kosher, we have to do certain things, which would mean that we have to, like, we have this app where we put all of our practices, and the girls are in charge of RSVPing, so telling us who's going to be there. And they also have to do their health check before they get to the rink. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, you have to, like, wear your masks and all that other shit. But, like, those are the two big things that you have to do before you get to the rink. And I constantly have to remind them. Every single time we have a practice or a game, I constantly, day of, have to remind them.
Yeah.
Do your RSVP and health check. And because I've had to do it so much, I've started to try to make it fun. So it's not just, like, a message stream of me being like, RSVP health checks, please. RSVP health checks, please. So I've started, like, doing funny stuff. And the last one that I did was gorgeous girls do their health checks and RSVPs before they roll up to the rink. And I got there, and like the one girl, like, me and her vibe with each other all the time. And we get there and she sits down and she's like, I was cackling when I saw that in the chat. And I was like, honestly, thank you so much. I worked so hard for that one. I like literally scrolled through Twitter until I found a trend that I thought would show up on all of their FYP pages. And then I try to do that where I'm like, okay, this is a trend that's probably pretty universal. So if I say it, they're going to, like, understand the joke. So I, like, try to do that now for them, and they think it's really funny. But that one was genuinely hilarious. And they were like, that's so good. And I was like, thank you so much. I love anything that you have to be on the inside to get the joke. Like if you like, and especially if it's like on the internet, like if it's an internet meme inside joke, I'm like, oh, yes, please let me in.
I want to know about
and then
this.
I just punched the mic because I got so excited.
Yes.
And then I immediately like use it with my students as much as I can because the currency in high
Gorgeous,
school.
gorgeous girls are up to date.
That's right. The currency in high school and junior high is just how relevant you are. And I try to be as relevant as possible because honest to God, it's like a manipulation tactic. When you're a substitute teacher, you want those kids to like you. Because guess what? If the kids like you and you're showing to the teacher that you're getting any semblance of work done and you don't leave horrible notes about how terrible their kids were, they'll ask you to come back. So it's just job security.
Yeah,
I make sure that I literally was talking to Brett's cousin, who's also a teacher. And I was like, do you have TikTok? And he's like, you kind of have to, don't you?
Yeah.
Like if you want your students to like you and think that you're relevant, then you kind of have to have it because I just want to know if what the slang that they're saying in class is appropriate or not. Yeah. And that's like a big reason why I got TikTok where I was like, I'd like to know if they're cussing me out.
Yeah.
Or if this is just slang.
Yeah.
And I love that TikTok bridges that gap.
Yeah.
I love it.
It is good. I think
do love
that'll
TikTok
be
so much.
We'll be probably in such a weird place when we're our parents' age and our children are, like when our children are 18 and like, because we're into TikTok right now and I'm, I don't think TikTok's going to be a big thing but there will be something else like it, you know what I mean? And it'll be interesting to see if we get into it because of the relevance, in this and, just because TikTok is overall just addicting, like there's going to be more stuff towards that.
Oh yeah.
And it'll be so interesting to see as they age because you see people on TikTok and they're making TikToks with their parents or they or the parent makes a TikTok.
Sides of TikTok that are geared just towards elder people.
Or I'm like where the people are making TikToks and they're like, hope my kid doesn't see this, or whatever. Right. And you're like, oh my god.
First of all, how embarrassing for your child. Second of all, fantastic for you.
Yeah.
Your life queen. Honestly, embarrass the shit out of that kid.
Yeah.
I can definitely see it from both sides of the coin. I love to embarrass my little sister so much. But also can vividly remember what it feels like to be embarrassed by my mother. So, there's that.
Excuse me.
Stop.
I'm sorry.
It's so well past your bedtime, babe.
It is. Oh my god.
Oh my god. How are we already at 42 minutes? What have we been even talking about? Where did we start? Getting conned. Where did we end?
Oh
TikTok.
My god. That is many degrees of separation.
Many degrees of separation. All right, so we're I know it's kind of like an abrupt, but like it's so far past Brooklyn's bedtime. So we're gonna sign off and wrap it up there. You can find us at anywhere that you find podcasts. We have a YouTube channel where we post the video portion of this that goes along with the audio portion as well. We have a TikTok, we have an Instagram, we have a Twitter. So pretty much all the social medias, we're out there. You can find us. And if you have any questions...
I have something to talk about too with a number 2.
Yeah, that's our hashtag. So we're on there.
S2TA.
And we also have an email. I have something to talk about with the number 2 at gmail.com if you want to send us questions or if you think that our opinions are shitty and you want to send us your hot takes, then you're more than welcome. Because like we've said, we're feisty and I want to hear what you got to say. Yeah. All right. Well, okay, well, we'll see you guys next time.
Thanks for joining.
Peace.